my relationship with the Church of Union. My relationship with the Church of Union in Twin Flames Universe from the beginning has been really off. And despite what other people may tell you, it's not my fault. It's not my problem. And I'm going to go through not everything, but I'm going to talk about a lot of things so that people can finally hear from me and not get caught in their own thoughts and beliefs or what other people in leadership are saying about me, because that's not fair. I'm just drinking a little plant-based shake, Koya from Whole Foods. I just recently had my tooth extracted. And so chewing and eating foods is really hard for me. I also just like shakes in general, as long as they're actually filling, because sometimes they can not be so filling and just leave you hungry. Okay. So I want to preface this by saying that I wrote some stuff down, and I also pulled 2 cards from my spiritual AF oracle card deck. And the cards I pulled are "To thine own ass be true" and "Fuck what they think." And so I know I'm correct about this. My problems with the Church of Union are not just me. Hey, they're not just all Deanna's the problem. Anything I've done wrong, and the things I've done wrong are extremely minimal in the grand scheme of life, I've already apologized for and explained what was going on my end. And I'm happy to talk more and more and share more and more about what's been going on my end. But my gut and my heart have been screaming for a really long time that there's something wrong with the Church of Union. It's not a me problem. It's not. And so I'm going to talk through not everything, but some things that I've experienced with the Church of Union, so that my voice can be out there. Because if I die in my sleep, you never know when you might pass away. I'm just going to be honest. And I don't want people thinking the wrong thing or not having all of the right information. From the beginning of joining Twin Flames Universe, there was always kind of this weird energetic conflict between me and Jeff and Shalia. I didn't really understand what it was about, but it was always there. I did everything on my end to try to hey, from India, I want to visit India so badly. I did everything on my end to be a great employee, to be a leader, to try to make them happy and support them. There's always this problem though, and it never really got resolved. And it's not because I'm not doing spiritual work. That's not the problem. The thing is that my light and innocence is so powerful that I unfortunately attract a lot of attack and hatred, prejudice, discrimination, and bullying. This has not happened to me, though, until I joined Church of Union, like in elementary school, middle school, high school, in my family, like my biological family and my friend group, I was never bullied. I was never harassed. I was never treated like this. This is only college workplaces. I've never been bullied until I joined the Church of Union. So, one of the first things I remember when I joined the Twin Flames Universe Open Forum is I posted a picture of two boys, two children. One of them was riding like a unicorn bike, and the other one was riding like a normal bike. And it said, "Haters gonna hate" on it. And I just felt called to post that. And Shalia very quickly talked to me and was like, I don't want, she said something along the lines of, I don't want that kind of drama in my forum. And I believe she deleted the post. And I remember feeling like, what the fuck? That was me expressing myself. Now, it wasn't just me expressing myself. It was also um, me providing healing as a spiritual teacher, meaning I was kind of prophesizing that whenever people would start hating on Twin Flames and Twin Flames Universe, we need to just remember that haters are going to hate. That was me sharing my insight and my power and my healing and my leadership in that meme. It wasn't just a random thing for me to share that. And in Taylor Swift's song Shake It Off, she says the same thing. Haters gonna hate. And so Shalia attacked me in that moment. And the problem is when you get attacked and pushed around and bullied, and especially because they teach the mirror exercise, they teach inner work, they teach spiritual work, you start internalizing everything and you start thinking that everything is your fault and your problem. And so I went for years just kind of absorbing everyone's um bullshit and trying to mirror it away instead of standing up for myself. I also very early on, upon joining the open forum, I expressed my love for the movie Titanic, and Jeff and Shalia attacked me then too. They were like, "That's not a twin flame story. That's not a twin flame love story. You can't talk about Titanic. Don't share about Titanic. It's not a real twin flame story." They attacked me, and so I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, "Okay, I can't post unicorn memes that express haters gonna hate. I can't talk about Titanic, even though it's one of my favorite movies and I'm deeply connected to it." What's interesting about this is now, if you look at Twin Flames Universe blog, they include Titanic in their blog. And Jeff and Shalia also on their Instagram have a thing of them being like Jack and Rose from Titanic. So I was attacked for that long ago, and now the community just embraces Titanic. You should already see a pattern in what I'm communicating. I'm a leader and I'm getting attacked for bringing awarenesses up early or sharing things early. Another thing is veganism, vegetarianism, animal rights, environmentalism. I posted about my vegetarianism in the open forum and I was attacked. I was bullied. Jeff and Shalia got on my ass. Jason bullied me. It was kind of like a big thing at the time. Like other people got involved, and I was essentially gaslit and manipulated into giving up at the time I was borderline vegan. I wasn't 100% vegan. I was like 98% vegan. But I was working for Jeff and Shelley at the time, and they threatened to fire me if I didn't start eating meat and dairy again. And so because I didn't want to lose my job and I loved the community so much, I started eating meat and dairy again, and I regret it. I regret it so much. I gained a lot of weight really quickly. I got stretch marks on my stomach, which I'd never had before. I lost myself. I completely lost myself. Of course, I've gone back to vegetarianism and borderline veganism now. If I had the proper support, I would be totally vegan 100% of the time. That's my chosen diet of preference is vegan. The only reason I'm not 100% vegan is simply because of support in my life at this time. Um, um, what else? What else? So, and the thing about it is, at the time, everyone else in the community was like, they kind of attacked me along with Jeff and Shalia. They're like, "Oh, you should probably eat meat because we don't want to disagree." You know what I mean? And I just completely lost myself. Recently, Billie Eilish has come out with this massive wave of unmasking, and she's going deeper than ever before about her beliefs in veganism and animal rights. And I'm like, I feel like I should have just been a celebrity and not bothered joining TFAS, because when you're a celebrity, even if you attract hate, you also have a fan base. And you have enough money and resources and support to protect yourself, and you don't have to give up your beliefs. Also, a lot of actors and actresses, musicians, celebrities are vegan and vegetarian, so it's not treated as such a weird thing. Jeff actually told me that veganism was a cult perpetuating separation from the whole. And that is exactly how Church of Union is acting right now. So that was projection of what he was doing with his community onto veganism. And I will always regret not standing up for myself. Now let's talk about music. When I first joined Twin Flames Universe, I was a musician. And that was my whole career path. I wanted to be with my true twin flame, make twin flame music, and help other people be with their twin flame and make twin flame music. That was it. That was like the extent of um my career desires. And at first, Jeff and Shlia were very supportive of my music. I remember I posted a picture of me at the Holiday Music Motel in Door County in Sturgeon Bay. And Shlia was like, "It looks like you're having fun." She was just, having a real relationship with me, but that changed really fast. And when um I made this post in the life purpose class forum about my long-term vision and desire to um bring twin flame music. I don't remember what I said in the post, but I wish I hadn't posted it in the life purpose class forum because I was attacked. I wish I had made it a blog post or made it a YouTube video so that it could have been more private and not attacked. Now, if God had truly been running the community, me making a post about twin flame music and my long-term vision to make music with my twin flame and help other twin flame musicians, that would have been a very welcomed post. Everyone would have celebrated and been like, that's so cool. I can't wait to hear your music. But that's not what happened. I made this beautiful post sharing my vision and my purpose, and then Jeff and Shalia attacked me again. There's a pattern of attack in my relationship with Jeff and Shalia. And even though attack isn't real, when someone pounces on you and attacks you this many times, you tend to stop wanting to have a direct relationship with them because you're just really sick of it, sick of being treated this way. So what happened when I shared my beautiful long-term vision for my career path was Jeff and Shalia spent an entire class berating me for no reason. This was a wasted class. This was not a good use of time. This was a waste of a class because they made an assumption that I wanted to quit being their business manager and go and devote all of my time to being a musician professionally. I never said that in my post. I never told them I wanted to quit being their business manager. There was no real problem going on. They made an assumption. They tweaked out. They did not clarify what was actually going on. And then they made it seem like they were really helping me and saving my ass in that class when there wasn't actually a problem going on. I didn't have an attachment to music. I wasn't doing music too much. I wasn't singing and playing music too much. It wasn't taking away from my role as their business manager. There was no real problem. They created a problem. And since I was so humble and attuned to them as my gurus, I was like, I must be doing something really wrong. Interact, otherwise people will go, honey, I don't exist for you. Go. Fuck off. Don't tell me what to fucking do on my own fucking live. This is my YouTube channel. Don't come on my live and boss me around. I'm not a fucking monkey. I'm not gonna dance when you say dance. Go fuck your fucking selves. Get off my fucking live. This is my YouTube channel. I'm sharing what I want to share. Fuck off. So this was a wasted class because there wasn't actually there was no clarification of what was going on. I made a post about my long-term vision and love of music, which is my life purpose. My life purpose is music. It's also other things, but as a life path number 3, I'm supposed to be like being a musician is like I am actually really behind in being a musician. I have a lot of albums to record. I'm supposed to be helping run this Church of Union music department, which doesn't currently exist. How can I remove someone from this? Yeah, if you're gonna harass me, I don't want it. Okay? There's good and bad harassment. That's a different topic for a different time. So when SRK Traveler, I don't like you. I want you off of my fucking live. Don't boss me around on my live. Get out. Get the fuck out of my live. Get out of here. You're unwanted. Go. Somebody report SRK Traveler. Not interested in your fucking shit. I started this live to share something that's important to me. It has nothing to do with you. And I'm not here to be bossed around by you. I'm not your employee. Okay. So Jeff and Shalia did not clarify. They did not clarify. How do I get this person out of here? I don't want this person here. This is ridiculous. I don't know how to work this. I don't know how lives work. So I'm just going to ignore you. So Jeff and Shalia did not ever clarify with me before that class what was actually going on. I made a post about my long-term goals, which, by the way, when you're working for somebody, most people know you're not going to work there forever. And most bosses in places of employment are deeply encouraging of your longer term career goals and vision. And they're not deluded into thinking you're supposed to be working for them and stay in the same position forever. That's not normal behavior. At every other job I've worked, my bosses and coworkers have actually wanted to know, what are your goals outside of this job? And I always say music. And every other boss I've ever had has said, that sounds really cool. I can't wait to hear your music. And so Jeff and Shalia overreacted. They made assumptions. They did not have a real conversation with me. They tweaked out, and then they spent a whole class making it seem like they were helping me through this big upset, but there was no problem going on. I was their business manager. That was my full-time job. I was loving the job perfectly. I was doing everything correctly. And then a few hours a week, I was focusing on my music. That's normal. That's real life. That's really healthy behavior. Everyone has hobbies and passions. Everyone uses jobs as stepping stones to other things. Most bosses are not deluded enough to think you're going to be in there in that same position forever. That's not normal. And so they spent this whole class acting like they were jumping in and saving me from going off in another direction and fucking off and being a musician. I never communicated to them that that's what I was doing. They're really bad at direct relationships and direct conversations. They don't clarify. They do make assumptions. They tweak out for no reason. They create problems. They're not very good at this. They always assume that they have a higher knowing and that God's talking to only them and they see things better. But so I kowtowed. I thought I was being humble. I let them go on with their bullshit. I had my profile photo in classes to me holding a guitar. And Jeff messaged me privately and said, you need to change your profile photo so it is no longer you holding a guitar. You want to talk about like fucking dictator type shit? So I thought I was being humble. I changed my profile photo in classes so it was no longer me holding a guitar, even though music is a massive part of my life purpose. I'm saying massive. Massive. Within, I don't know how long, but shortly after he asked me to do this, Jeff changed his Facebook profile photo so it was him holding a guitar. I see these patterns. I notice patterns even in Jeff and Shalia. Now, when it came time, um no, he didn't. Yeah. When it came time, and by the way, at the time I said nothing. I was like, I'm going to be humble. I'm going to do my inner work and I'm just going to give this all to God. But then it came time for me to actually go deeper with music. And I was in spiritual boot camp, and God told me it was my turn to record a song for the Church of Union Music Department. And it was the song, What If God Was One With Us? And I felt the green light through all my chakras. It's my personal yes with God. I checked in. God said, This is your song. This is for you to do. This is the cover I want you to start with. This is the song for you. And so I recorded all the guitar parts, all of the vocals, and I finished the song. And I did a really good job. And Jeff and Shalia, without giving me a reason, just took it, gave the song to someone else, had someone else do it. They didn't even leave it as an option for people to listen to or use my version and the other person's version. So what you can see here is a pattern of control and manipulation in regard to many things, but especially music for me. So let's see. Let's talk about me being CEO of Twin Flames Universe. I should have been promoted to CEO. I was the true leader. But Jeff and Shalia spent most of their time with Fabian. They were purposely avoiding me, even though I was the one really leading. And so by the time I was promoted to CEO, it was really last minute. It was clear there had been a mistake and lots of oversight. And I was switched to CEO right before a massive live event, Toronto. So basically, the Toronto event was dumped on me last minute, right as classes were ending. That was not God's will. Fabian and I were supposed to partner in that event. We were supposed to partner as CEO, but instead, I got overburdened, exhausted, burnt out, imbalanced, and everything fell on me last minute. No one cared that this was happening. No one pointed it out. No one cared. No one was like, hey, this seems really last minute. Is this really going to work out for you? Like, this seems really weird. Why would they have Fabian step away right before the live event? He got away with it. Everyone let him get away with that. He was lazy. Fabian was being lazy. He didn't talk to me. He wasn't partnering with me. And he was just not with God. No, I am not transgender. But happy Pride Month. Not my area of expertise. And so during the Toronto event, I was burnt out, imbalanced, and exhausted. During the Toronto event, in the room we booked for the workshop, there was really loud music that was blaring through. And I did everything I could. It was really hard to stop. And what God was trying to do was say, your life purpose is music. Jeff and Shalia were wrong. They need to atone. Because music kept blaring through the walls. And it was like a big joke. Like God was trying to be really funny about this. But of course, Jeff and Shalia just saw the music as a nuance, and they wanted me to like clamp down and shut that down really, really quick. They're not that open to God. They're extremely controlling. In the class where they fired Fabian and replaced me as CEO, they made Fabian look like a king who had done nothing wrong and was just in the wrong position. And that's not the truth. The truth of that situation is that I had been doing all of the work the entire time. I was the one who had the idea to start sales calls. Fabian took credit for that. And he wasn't talking to me or partnering with me about Toronto. He wasn't a good leader. But instead of disciplining him and forcing him to partner with me or be my subordinate, my executive assistant, instead of making him be COO and me CEO or making us co-CEOs, they made Fabian look like he was a king who could do no wrong and he was just in the wrong position and he was a perfect being and oh my God, Fabian's so awesome. And I thought something really beautiful was happening at the time that I was being promoted. But I did not sleep well after I got promoted. And it was not for a good reason. It was because I had to kick into survival mode extremely fast and take on this entire workshop and CEO really last minute. I was completely imbalanced. I was completely burnt out. It was not compassionate and it was not God's will. But see, the Church of Union doesn't care about God's will. They care about everyone just kind of like, I don't know, people don't look out for each other. At least that's not my experience. No one looked out for me. No one was looking out for me. Fabian was lazy. He was not doing his job. And he got to look like he was doing nothing wrong, but he was doing so much wrong. Jeff and Shalia have never humbled Fabian. They have never disciplined him. And because of it, he's not self-actualizing. You cannot coddle and baby certain students and then punish and be really harsh on other students. Then Jeff and Shalia forced me to step down as CEO. They did not ask me if I wanted to stop being CEO. They got on a call behind the scenes and they're kind of like nudging me out of the position. What was truly going on is that I needed to do MAP. I hit a wall because of trauma. But they did not really talk to me about it. They just kind of once again made assumptions and they were like, they just kind of forced me to step down as CEO. I didn't want to. I just needed more support and I needed to go through MAP for the first time. But, and this is the problem. There's a big difference between what goes on behind the scenes in the church and then what other people see. Then let's talk about boot camp. Boot camp was a volunteer position. It was essentially like being fucking drafted for the military. That's how it felt to me. It was not sustainable program when I was in it. It was not compassionate. I would never do it again. I would never recommend someone do anything like that. Um, it's just not a necessary thing in life. Spiritual boot camp is not a necessary part of reality. It never needed to happen. But even so, like, the amount of work that I put in helping them move into their mansion, if you understood the amount of work that I put in, physical and spiritual, to help them during that transition and support them, um, like, I don't deserve to be banned now because of all of the hard work I put in. I deserve to be really cherished and honored and respected, included and supported. Um, 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 because that was like so much work. That was so much work. I didn't get that much out of it that I couldn't have learned somewhere else in a more compassionate and loving way. It was really intense, and it wasn't 100% safe and loving. Um, and yet I got discarded at the end of it. The problem with my relationship with the church is that I was a high level leader for a really long time, constantly doing things to support other people. Um, but then when it was my turn to just be um, kind of like, um, when it was my turn to like receive and just belong, I didn't get to do that. Like, it's like they always want me to be like perfectly leading and in like doing like really high level leadership things, or I can't belong. Why am I not allowed to just be part of the community, have my relationships, share my story, go to the weddings, go to the workshops, be part of sermons? Why can't my relationship with the church be easy and fluid? And if I'm stressed out or need to take some time off of a certain thing, like, why can't it be more loving? The First Unitarian Society in Madison that I go to is so compassionate and loving. And the Church of Union needs to learn from other churches that are genuinely loving and compassionate and don't operate with this coercive control and this fucking bullshit. It feels like I was only allowed to be in the community if I was willing to be a really high level leader. And give. But the second I needed space to heal my trauma, I needed to take steps back. I just wanted to belong, and be part of the church in a really balanced way. I wasn't allowed to do that. I wasn't allowed to do that. That's not okay. Um, I have ideas for live events. I wanted to do a total solar eclipse party at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in April of 2024. I've wanted to do live events and workshops in Madison and Milwaukee. I want to do them in Minnesota. I want to be coaching. I want to be helping people and sharing my story. I have ideas for Sunday sermons for me and other people. I want to be helping run the music department, making music videos, and I'm just simply not allowed. This is total bullshit. This is total bullshit, and I invite people to rebel. I invite people to speak up. I invite people to um I invite I invite I invite people to speak up against BS. I also want to mention that I hosted a member of the Church of Union in mine and my mom's house, which was a really intimate and vulnerable experience for me. And I brought her into Harmonious Union, took really good care of her, drove her to the Chicago airport, made sure all her packages and luggage got to her. Like I was like a really like we drove to Madison to sell her car and took pictures, and like I was a really good friend and like almost host family to this member of the church. But now this same member is saying I wasn't nice to her when she lived with me, and no one's really willing to do the same thing for me. It's like other people get really babied and pampered and treated like a princess or a prince in the community, but I get treated like I have leprosy and I'm a criminal. And the very few things that I have done that are out of alignment with love are so minimal and so easily explained. And I've already apologized, but like no one has to apologize to me when they do something wrong. I didn't even write this down. My experience with ascension coaching has been really bad. My experience with ascension coaches is that they get on a call and they just manipulate and control the whole session. They don't let me lead the session. They don't let natural, authentic healing occur. I have had a handful of things said to me in sessions that are kind of helpful. But besides that, ascension coaching has just been me paying someone and giving them money and not receiving much in return. My first map session was perfect. It was immaculate. I loved it. But my second map session, the map practitioner laughed at one of my traumatic memories. And then I was removed from the community altogether while I was in the middle of a map healing program. And then also, I got my coaching business dismantled right shortly after I paid $1,000 for a master certification. And now, of course, they're raising the price of they're doing everything wrong. The church is doing everything wrong in regard to me. It's like they can't handle me. I'm so loving and innocent and straightforward, and I have so much love and vision that it's almost like they can't comprehend it, and they have to fuck with me and keep me out and manipulate situations and force me to go slower than is natural for me and take things away from me and ruin my reputation and make everything really, really hard. This was all supposed to be really beautiful. This was supposed to be really simple. None of this needed to happen. And I invite you to speak up for me if you're in the church. Speak up for yourself too if shit's going down for you too. We all have to speak up and stand up for each other. It's more than necessary. And just another thing about this person that I hosted in mine and my mom's house. I also, when she was living with me, I invited her and encouraged her into higher levels of leadership. I brought her into the weekly LPC discussion group because I wanted to promote her as a leader. I was always encouraging, like I'm always empowering and loving and encouraging and supporting other people. But then when it's my turn, everyone gets really fucking weird and pushes me away or does some shady shit. This is not a complete encapsulation of my entire experience with the Church of Union, but I needed to get this out there. So just remember that real leaders don't just agree with everything. They make real changes. They make real they make real changes. They see things that aren't right and they do speak up about it. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not a real leader. Real leaders look out for other people and they create new leaders, more leaders. And so I have lost things that I can never get back, memories and experiences and spiritual legacy. I can't get it back. What the Church of Union needs to do is stop attacking me. If I share something, let me share and let it be okay. Because most of the problem has come in the fact that I do something with God or express something with God, and other people get triggered and attack me. And no, I am not attacking myself. Also, Shalia told me that singing drains me, and it doesn't. That's a bullshit lie. And so you can only imagine what your motivation must be if you're going to disempower people in what their true life purpose is. Church of Union needs to be in the business of encouraging and empowering people, not whatever the fuck is going on right now. I deserve my master certification back for completely free because of what I've gone through, all the BS. I deserve a formal apology from MAP and the MAP practitioner that laughed at my trauma. I deserve an apology for being banned in the middle of healing trauma. I deserve an apology from being left out of workshops and weddings and Sunday services in the community this entire time. We all have blocks. We all have blind spots. We all have things we're healing, including Jeff and Shalia. And you should get to share your entire story and all of your awarenesses as they come up. As they come up. You should get to experience your full, because we all love celebrities, right? Like we love Billie Eilish. Well, guess what? She has Tourette's. I have Tourette's. She's a vegan, outspoken animal rights activist. So am I. How would you treat Billie Eilish if she was in the open forum? I bet you would treat her differently. I bet you wouldn't attack her. Billie Eilish has been accused of having demons. How would you treat her? People have demons, okay? It's okay. Like, treat everyone like they're a celebrity. Because in God's eyes, everyone is a celebrity. Billie Eilish has gone through like a lesbian phase. Or maybe she still is going through that. I'm not entirely sure. But like, so then let's be more supportive of people who are LGBTQ+. Let's be actually inclusive. Let's stop saying we're inclusive and actually be inclusive. I would love to keep talking about all of the things I would change about the Church of Union, but I need to take some time for myself now. But I just wanted to get some of this out there, that my experience with Church of Union has been really bad. And it's just because, like, I don't know, I'm such a leader. I'm always like trying to bring up things that are like new and revolutionary. And I also think I trigger people and people don't know how to handle it. So anyway, thanks for watching.